Hey guys, welcome to another day on the shop. Today, we have an upgrade for the Ford Focus. It is the car I hate the most out of my fleet, but other than that, we have a ZHNN car stereo. Yeah, so there's their .com, ZHNNcar.com. So they were kind enough to send me out a stereo that integrates and fits perfectly in the Focus. It's the first time I've opened it, so all I did was open it, pull out the user manual, and we're gonna go through it together because I don't even know what's inside here other than what they had in the pictures. Looks like a couple of different cords, integration cords and modules, big old speaker, a screwdriver, looks like a backup camera, a trim tool, and then we have the radio, but I got to get it out with both hands. There's some screws. Here's some little mounting bits for everything. And then there's the radio down there. So let me pull it out. All right, so here's the screen. It's a pretty decent sized screen. I think it's 10 inches or something like that, or bigger. So kind of like a Tesla almost. So it gets rid of all the other stuff that's in the car. As of radio wise, a couple little plug-ins here and there. Everything else is integrated to where it just plugs and plays. These three, it looks like they don't. So that's just for the instrument panel down here, which should be pretty simple to just plug and play on that. So it looks like you have your key on, your illumination to dim the switches, and then your ground. Pretty simple. All the cords look like they're going to plug in pretty well. So we're going to get into looking at what all this is. Looks like you have a couple other pieces of trim. So to mount this in here correctly, and with that, that helps out towards making this thing look really good when it's in. So we got all that. All right, now let's get into all the cords. I'm going to pull all these out. All right, so starting out, here is the reverse camera. So we have power and ground for this, a long cord for that, as of going to the radio, as this is the AV cord, and then you have power and ground to it. So, and then this is power and ground to that. Next, we have a little integration plug and everything else. Looks like it would probably go for different controls and everything else that it plugs into, as of even the radio section for it. It looks like a speaker of some sort, I guess, for calling and or chimes or anything else like that. Then we have a little bit more integration, as of this is for the radio itself. It looks like yeah, it's got amp, mic, video in and out, aux, front out, and all that. And then we have a GPS sensor, so we can keep our maps up for that. An integration for a USB, another integration for a USB, and then that's another AV cord. Then you have your mic. So we're going to work on all this and get all this installed as quick as we can and the right way. So let's go through here. It looks like there's just a few cords, a few wires that are either blocked off, or we're gonna use them. I'm not sure yet. So we're gonna find that out in just a few minutes. The directions are here. They don't match up perfectly with this setup, but we should be able to use this to actually define what we need to do and go through it. So that's what we're gonna do right now. All right, with any stereo or electronic application, you wanna take and remove your battery terminal to make sure you don't have a fault of some sort and decide to burn up a whole bunch of fuses or catch something on fire. All right, when looking at the radio, you have two T25 screws right here up under this little vent. So we'll pop them out, and then you use the trim tool around the radio to pop the whole radio out, and it comes out pretty easy. So we'll pop these out real quick and get all that off. All right, next step is, all it is one plug right here. You unplug this, and there you go, that's out. So this whole mechanism is already out due to that one plug. Let's take this box out. Looks like a T25 as well, 2 bolts up there, and it should slide straight out. All right, well, here's most of the plugs right here that's going to integrate into the system itself. So we'll pop these out and we'll put the connectors on these and we'll go from there. All right, well, we unplugged the actual module right here. We got to take the screen out as well because it's still got plugs that go to it. So we got 4 little T25 bolts right there, and we'll pop them out and this will be ready for installation. All right, so this plug right here is kind of like an engine bay plug for an ECU. The way it works is you have a little tab right here that you press. When you press this tab, this little mechanism folds down. All right, so press it, and this folds down, and it unlocks it. And it pulls straight out. So that's the easy one. These right here that go into the back of the radio, or the module, you just press this little circular part right there. Press it down and pull out. Pretty simple. They are color coordinated, so you won't mess up which one goes in which, because there are 2. There's a black one and a brown one. Brown one goes on the outside, black one goes on the inside. They're color coded to the actual plugs they go into on the module itself, but since we're ditching the module, we move on to what it actually goes to, which is the antenna for the radio itself. So it has a little adapter for that. So that's what we're using right here. And so we have to route the reverse camera now all the way through. And then we have to also take apart the other trim, which is for the vents for the AC. And that comes with 2 different trim pieces down here. One that fits the earlier model between 2012 and 2014, and then a later one that does 2015 through 18. So let's get to wiring and let's get to getting this reverse camera installed. All right, so we're looking at the reverse camera and how to do this. So we got the reverse camera here. We got 2 plugs on it. One is video, one is power. We're coming back here to the trunk, which is not an easy task. I've already started the actual plug-in wire that goes to the radio. I've looped it through. It goes down that way. It's going to come up, follow this around, follow up here, and it comes through right here. The issue you have is you have this handle right here, so you can't put it center. It doesn't really help to put it right here in the center. So you'll put it right on the side and just angle it the way you need. And the way I route this is I route it with the trim up above, right up here in the little corner right there, all the way up. Continue to go through the entire car, and we come through up here, down here, through there, all the way down. Once we get down here, we go behind the glove box all the way up and fish it out right here. Any excess you have, you can just put it in here. You will have excess because they give you a universal cord, which is about 25 feet long, so it's pretty long. But you do have a red wire on each side, and I'll explain that in a minute. Right now, I'm getting ready to take this and install it right there. So I got to drill this hole a little bit bigger. I had a different reverse camera on it, and this one integrates into the actual radio, so we're going to do that. I just have to drill a hole bigger because we have 2 RCA cables right here, and they don't fit. So we're going to make this bigger. All right, so it is installed. I had to drill a bigger hole. I put a grommet, we can see on the back side right there, to make sure that weather doesn't get in. Ran the cord up to here, around everything. I double taped this to make sure it's not going anywhere because it was slipping out. One of the RCA cables was slipping out. So I gotta tighten this zip tie up to hold it better. and then go all the way around down to here. When you're hooking up your reverse camera, you're going to want to plug into your reverse lights. That is right here. So I just tapped into both of them, right here and right here, as well as this yellow plug for the RCA cable that goes to the actual camera or to the radio from the camera. It needs to have power too. I put it to the same plug for power whenever it's on as well. So we've got those situated. That's all done. It's routed all the way to the front. Simple and easy. All right, well, we have ran the wire. It is right here now. It goes under the, right behind the glove box, up that panel, all the way around, through the ceiling basically, down in the back. You can use your trim tool, which I'm gonna have to do because you see that little black mark right there? Yeah, I'm gonna shove that down further because that is the wire. So it can go behind the headliner and all that, which is not a bad deal. We've got the GPS module. This has double-sided tape as well. So we're gonna put it back there on that little panel back there, and it should be good to go with that. So that's what I'm gonna do real quick, and then we'll get into getting the radio ready and starting to talk about the wiring aspect of it. So and then we have our GPS right there. So that should work out pretty good. We got all our wiring right here that we need, and now we're gonna start hooking it all up. Well, excuse me, first we're gonna move the vents over and to the trim, and so we have AC vents in here. So let's do that. It's not difficult. All right, so right here you have 3 tabs on the outside, 3 tabs on the inside. Both of them do that, and we'll pop these off, put these on. Then next, the bottom trim right here, and we will spin it around. It comes with installation screws, so we'll set that in and screw those in as well. And then we'll start talking about the wiring. Having a little screwdriver helps out a lot with this. All you gotta do is just kind of pry on it a little bit, just get the tabs off of it. Let's see, oh, if I can get it, it'll come up, maybe not. Got this tab, this tab, this tab, that tab. There we go. So that's one off. Then all we got to do is transfer it over to the other one. Just as simple as removing it. We're going to replace it on here, and it just slides down in these little slots with all those little tabs. All that's lined up now on the outside. On the inside, same thing. All you gotta do is push down. Everything snaps into place. So you have your vent adjustment right here, and all the tabs are in. All right, so we're gonna start with this plug right here. This plug plugs simply right here. Simple and easy. Push down, clicks. The only 2 things this thing plugs into is one is right here, and that is the fan right here. So it plugs into the fan. The other thing is the mic. So it plugs into the mic that we've got to also route. All right, so since we're getting into the installation of everything, I decided I'm going to run the little microphone real quick just to make sure that it may or may not work. I don't know, because I've heard complaints it doesn't work sometimes, but I'm going to put it right up here in this little dash area. I should have enough cord. Just going to run it down just like the camera, all the way across, back into there. So first we're going to put it where we want it, and then we'll run it all the way down. It shouldn't be difficult. You just pop this off right here, pull the weather stripping off, pop this panel off, and we'll just run it right behind here in the dash and just loop it through some other wires to hold it up under there, and then we'll pull it straight through here, and it'll just be integrated into everything. All right, well, after I ran the mic, I've learned that this radio actually has an internal mic right there. So we got everything hooked up right here and right here. We don't need the USBs because we don't have to worry about that. We're just using Bluetooth. Let's use all this and plug and play. So I see everything is right here ready to go. The only questionable thing is these 3 wires right here that are on the bottom section. So if you can see that, they're right here. They're just sitting there. They're ready to be tapped into for something else, but I don't know what they go to. But I'm gonna go ahead and hook all this up and we're gonna see how it works. All right, let's talk about this jumbled mess of wires. So we talked about it on the bench where this one wire set has all these RCA jacks right here. This has an amp outlet, and it also has the, where is it? The fan control for the power for the fan. So that's that. So you need the amp out. The rest of them are just here. We don't use any more of these. All right. So you got these two plugs that come off. The wire for the fan and the amp control. Next is this. These two wires. These two wires come to the big box controller. So they plug into the 6 or 8 port right there. The other two are for the USBs. And then you have this one. This last one over here, which is a 10 port, comes to your RCA cable for your reverse camera. So we got that. And here's the thing. All right, you have your camera. Here's the power to it. So when it turns on, it always has power. It goes to the amp controller. So anytime the radio is on, this will control the power to this. So that's a 12-volt source. Use it. It's easy. So the next part we come over to is the antenna. The brown plug is not the antenna. It's the black plug. So plug it into there. You should have antenna. No worries with that. All right, coming to this plug right here. Moving all these wires out of the way. All right, coming down here, we come up. It plugs into this plug. The other plug, the other wire, comes up and plugs into this wire. And then the third wire plugs up here. So you have the screen plug and then the two outlet plugs for the old radio. All right, the last one up here is the GPS. So the GPS is plugged in and it's wired back there. Last but not least, we have the plug that came from the bottom section of the old radio, plugs directly into the bottom section. And then you have 3 wires coming off the bottom here. These 3 wires are illumination, key on, and ground. Well, we're looking at ground. Ground, I plugged into the radio ground right here and used a little adapter to make it work. Then after that, I took the other 2 wires, the key on and the illumination, and plugged it into the amp control as well. So that controls everything, makes the controls on the front light up, and everything works perfect in this. So we're going to put it back together, put the screws back in it, and we're good to go. All right, so all the wiring back here is perfectly fine. It's you just toss it back there, but there isn't a plug that won't go to another plug. They and they're not interchangeable, so they all go to their own separate plugs. And what we're going to do is now we're going to just turn it on with a key and see what happens, and we'll plug it up to this USB in a minute and see how that goes. Oh, so we got this set in. We're gonna turn it on. We gotta go hook up the battery because we have all the components hooked up like we need, and then we're gonna turn it on. We're powering up right now. There we go. All right, so we've got it up. So now we can sit here and scroll through menus and everything. But my question is, what all can we do? And let's link our phone to it and see what happens. You can also put your Wi-Fi on here, which is another thing. And we're going to learn how to work with all this and see if it all works. But first we're going to test these buttons out and see what happens. So, all right, that works. Hazards work. Let's see, menu, nav, back. Well, I don't think these work. No, it doesn't seem these buttons work right here. I'm not sure why. We'll figure that out later. But yeah. So these might go to something else. This is my Apple Play, so I've got everything on here I need to do and have, and it's working quite well. The microphone that I had put in and took out, this little microphone right here works perfect. All right, So my only problem is you have these 4 buttons right here. They don't do anything. I don't know why. As of everything else, the radio works, music works, radio works, all of it works. I have Apple CarPlay on my phone and it just works directly with it and works really well. The Wi-Fi aspect, you have to turn your Bluetooth off when you're getting Wi-Fi from your phone or something as a hotspot. Otherwise it keeps clicking back to your CarPlay, so that's a little issue. As of wiring diagrams or anything, yeah, I had issues with the backup camera and just trying to figure out where certain things went towards. There's a lot of extra wires. The backup camera with that one red wire that comes off, well, I hooked it directly into the amp wire in the back of the radio because I don't have an amplifier. So I tied it into that to get the reverse camera to work. So now every time it clicks on and I have that. So I got to play with the settings a little bit more because I want to dial it in a little bit with the reverse camera. But other than that, yeah, it works. I really appreciate them sending it to me to check out, install, do a little review on it. Yeah, so all these controls work as well. So as you see, but you have to learn the concept of the Android platform with it. It took me a little bit to kind of start fishing through it and learning it, but it's simple once you get to knowing it. So check them out in the link in the description if you would like your own for your Ford Focus or something like that. They have many different ones for different cars. This one's working out for me so far, as I've just put it in and I'm looking at it. My contacts are in here. I can call, I can receive calls, I can text from it. I can watch YouTube if I want to, sitting in a parking lot. And there's so many different things I can do with this that it really works out really great. So especially with the navigation part, because riding around doing some of the work I do, you need navigation for that. So yeah, well, check out all the links in the description below. I want to say thank you for joining into another episode of The Shop, and yeah, until next time.